Traffic updates are sponsored by Mercedes-Benz of South Orlando.
This is Channel 9 Eyewitness News this morning. Coverage you can count on.
Well, this morning, a man is dead after being shot by a Port Orange police officer. What investigators say that man did to force police to open fire. Plus,
have alcohol on the beach. Only had like 2 beers.
Ahead of the charges this couple is facing after Volusia County deputies say they got drunk on the beach and lost track of their young kids.
And the votes are in. The support former President Donald Trump received in Florida's Republican presidential preference primary and the results from other important races across Central Florida. And good morning to you. I'm Christopher Heath. The time right now, 7 o'clock.
And I'm Alexa Lorenzo. We are bundled up this morning because it's cold out there. Here's certified meteorologist Cassandra Crumey.
Yeah, and I want to take you out to Port Canaveral. Look at this beautiful shot. The sun's not up yet. Over at our beaches, it'll climb up over the horizon at around 7:27, but we've got that nice, beautiful glow to the horizon early this morning. We have temperatures in most of Brevard County still in the 50s, and we kind of expected Brevard County to be our more mild spot through the overnight. So 58 degrees right now in Port Canaveral, 50 in Titusville. Melbourne, we're at 48 degrees, and inland, a lot of 40s for us. We even have those 30s again resurfacing in Bushnell, 30s for the first time up in Ocala, 39, but 43 degrees in DeLand and 45 degrees in Sanford. So it is definitely a noticeably colder morning, 5 to 15 degrees colder in some spots. And as we head through the day today, what to expect? We are going to see our numbers climb through the afternoon. So chilly to begin, mild this afternoon, lots of sunshine, and really we're going to strip those winds down quite a bit, so it won't be as breezy as well. So we're looking at temperatures close to seasonal in a lot of spots and then getting warmer tomorrow. But as we look further in the outlook Friday into the weekend, we do have some rain in store. We'll talk a little bit more about that coming up in my full forecast. Our time right now, 7:02. We'll get a check of the roads with Alexa.
We start this morning with a live look at I-4 eastbound. This is right by State Road 535. You can see it's off to the shoulder, this minor crash investigation. So we're no longer seeing any major impacts to those main travel lanes. Then we show you a crash on Old Winter Garden Road and Ring Road. Earlier we had heavy traffic building through here, but crews are almost done clearing this out, so we're seeing the progress on live traffic tracker. Jumping on over to Silver Star, this is a crash right at Dardanelle Road. That's a difficult one to say. They should rename it. We're not seeing any shakeups here. All lanes still open.
Right now, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement is investigating an officer-involved shooting in Port Orange.
You can see the crime scene tape that was stretched across this neighborhood yesterday afternoon. It all played out on Jandon Court, not too far from Spruce Creek Park. Channel 9 Sam Martello joins us live in studio this morning. And Sam, police say a man charged at them with a knife.
Alexa, we're told this call came in reference to a suicidal subject. Port Orange police say the man would not listen to their commands to stop as he charged at police with a knife. And the neighbors we spoke with couldn't believe this happened in their neighborhood to this man. You'll hear more from them coming up in 30 minutes. Live in studio, Sam Martello, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Well, this morning, former President Donald Trump has received the most votes in the Florida's GOP presidential preference primary. More than 1.1 million people voted in the GOP primary. The unofficial results show former President Donald Trump receiving about 81% of the vote. He was the only major candidate still on the ballot. Nikki Haley received about 14% of the vote, even though she ended her campaign. And Governor Ron DeSantis got about 4% of the vote.
We have the results for other local races that may have been on your ballot. In Winter Park, 71% of voters elected Sheila DeCiccio as mayor over her opponent, Michael Cameron. Meanwhile, in Oakland, Shane Taylor received more than 64% of the votes to become mayor there. Over in Maitland, nearly 62% of voters passed a $14 million bond referendum to build a new library building at Quinn Strong Park.
Well, turning now to the situation in Haiti, the U.S. State Department is warning Americans there to be ready for possible helicopter evacuations.
They're happening at the U.S. Embassy in the capital of Port-au-Prince, but there have been reports of gang fighting within a quarter mile of that area. The chaos has forced thousands of people from their homes. They've set up makeshift shelters in government buildings. The United Nations says more than 1 million people in Haiti are on the brink of famine.
And Channel 9 has learned a private flight bringing people from Haiti back to the United States could arrive today at Orlando Sanford International Airport. We're monitoring that for you, and we'll give you an update if and when it happens. New from overnight, a controversial immigration law in Texas is once again on hold.
A federal appeals court blocked it hours after the U.S. Supreme Court allowed the law to go into effect. The law would give police in Texas broad power to arrest people suspected of crossing the border illegally. They would be deported back to Mexico, even if that's not where they originally came from.
I think it would be fair to interpret it as a law never intended on incarcerating people, and a law intended really to deter people.
Today, the appeals court will hear arguments on whether the law should stay on hold until they rule on its legality. That hearing was supposed to happen in 2 weeks, but it was moved up to today.
U.S. lawmakers have just a few more days to strike a deal to avoid a government shutdown. The deadline is Friday night. You're looking live at the U.S. Capitol, where congressional leaders say they're getting closer to an agreement, but it's possible a vote will not happen until this weekend. A shutdown could force the IRS to furlough thousands of workers, which could disrupt your tax filing. It could also impact spring break travel, as air traffic controllers and most TSA workers would be required to temporarily work without pay.
What an exciting time. We wish them the best of luck, Cassie.
Absolutely. And as we take outside, this is up in Volusia County as well, Daytona Beach. Look at this beautiful start to the day. I tell you, a clear, cold morning just has a different sunrise for us. Now, the sun doesn't officially come up for just about 20 minutes, but we have that nice glow on the horizon as the skies wake up. It is cold, though, 44 degrees right now in Daytona Beach, and you see that official sunrise time at 7:27. But let's take you around Central Florida. There's a lot of 40s. We're now starting to see them dip into Titusville for the first time of the morning. We're also seeing them dip down into Winter Haven, Claremont, those upper 40s, 30s in Bushnell, Ocala, and Palm Coast. Orlando right now at 50, but you did have 40s earlier this morning. Again, making for a colder start, the coldest morning of the week. Now, with that being said, this afternoon is going to be still beautiful. Loads of sunshine headed our direction. Winds aren't going to be as breezy as we had yesterday, and the temperatures will start to climb and rebound a bit more than what we had for our Tuesday as well. So we're back into the 70s, and we're even anticipating mid and upper 70s. Orlando will get to about 77 degrees later today, and we get even warmer tomorrow before our next chance for rain, which we'll break down for you coming up in my full forecast. 7:10 is our time. We'll get a check of the roads with Alexa.
Cruiser on the shoulder of I-4. This is eastbound right at State Road 535. We have a minor crash, but traffic is still able to move through on all lanes of I-4. Then we take you to Old Winter Garden Road and Ring Road, where crews are clearing a scene here. Then a live look at our highways as you get out and about on this Wednesday morning, seeing some calm traffic on I-4 at State Road 408.
Or learning new information into a state investigation into Orlando City Commissioner Regina Hill.
Coming up, the reaction from the mayor and what only we found out about a document at the center of this case.
And ahead, what a new report reveals about the amount of pesticides found in the produce your family may be eating every day.
And in just over a month, you can come out to Florida's Puerto Rican Parade and Festival in downtown Orlando. Next, what organizers just revealed about this year's plans. It's 7:11.
Drone 9, only on Channel 9 Eyewitness News, getting you closer over the scene of breaking news.
Drone 9, sponsored by StrataAC.com. You ought to call Strata.
First in breaking news,
Commissioner Hill is accused of taking advantage of a 96-year-old woman.
uncovering every detail.
The allegations in this paperwork include taking money more than $100,000.
With complete team coverage.
The authorities came to this door behind me last week and told Commissioner Hill to get out.
Were you aware of the investigation into Commissioner Hill?
I'm aware that there has been an ongoing FDLE investigation.
Channel 9 Eyewitness News, breaking news coverage you can count on.
This morning, there's a new effort to try to reduce the number of deadly crashes nationwide. It's a federal push called the Save Our Pedestrians Act. The bipartisan proposal would set aside about $100 million from the Highway Safety Improvement Program every year. Lawmakers say the goal is to improve safety at high-risk crossings. Data from the Governor's Highway Safety Association shows more than 3,300 people were hit and killed by drivers during the first half of the 2023 year alone.
New this morning, a woman in Palm Beach County is facing charges after police say daycare workers found a gun in her son's lunchbox. The school called police after teachers found the 9mm Glock. 39-year-old Shawnee Davis told officers she usually keeps the gun in her glove box at her apartment complex, but there's been several break-ins, so she started storing it in the lunchbox and forgot to take it out. Davis faces several charges, including child neglect.
This morning, Oviedo firefighters are investigating a fire that threatened a local charity group. Firefighters responded to the Boys Town Oviedo north of Geneva Drive yesterday afternoon. There they saw an attached storage shed completely on fire. They say that there were gas-powered equipment pieces inside. Firefighters were able to put out the fire about an hour after they got there. Thankfully, no one was hurt. And it's always a fun time. Last year it was really hot, so you felt for the people in the big costumes.
Oh, yes. And it's right at that time of year where we're getting closer and closer to our wet season. Humidity starts to climb, and it can get sticky.
Yeah.
Not today, though.
Nope.
Not today at all. It's going to be dry. The humidity will be low. Our temperatures are cold. Somebody is out there with a surfboard right now. That little temperature box covering it up.
Oh, man.
Somebody is out there.
Jason Sargent, yeah.
I don't know, but it is so cold. 44 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Look at, I'm going to move that back just so you guys don't think I'm crazy. Look at, there they are.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a stand-up paddle board, but some type of board outside. 40s for a lot of us. 42 in DeLand, 49 in the Villages, 36 in Palm Coast, 39 in Ocala, 38 in Bushnell. A lot of 40s, a few low 50s, colder than yesterday. We anticipated this to be the coldest morning of the week, and it is here. We do have a dry start. We have a sunny start to the day, or we will have a sunny start. The sun's going to come up here in about 10 to 15 minutes across central Florida, and that's going to make for a gorgeous, gorgeous day. High pressure is going to keep that sunshine around. It's going to keep the dry and comfortable air around. Dry in the sense of no showers, but also dry in the sense of humidity is going to be very low. We are going to be watching our next rainmaker, though. This will be developing as it tracks eastward across the Gulf of Mexico. You can see some pretty big rain developing on Thursday evening. We're still going to be dry here close to home Thursday, but come Friday, we've got the wet and stormy possibility moving into our forecast. So our rain chance really starts to climb on Friday, but we've got dry and comfortable weather leading up to it. So hour by hour through the day today, as we head through the afternoon, it's definitely a better beach day. Again, not so much this morning as it's quite cold, but we are at least going to look for some low 70s at our coastline. The surf height running at about 2 to 3 feet. We get you closer to the metro. It is going to be warmer, and we're going to be very close to seasonal levels today. Normally, we should be just shy of 80, and we're going to hit about 77 degrees for this afternoon. We'll get to about 74 in Claremont and the Villages. And tonight won't be as cold, but still cool. Still a handful of 40s, so we start off again with some of those temperatures that you may need the jacket or the sweatshirt. But by the afternoon tomorrow, we're back in the 80s. Come Friday, we've got that good chance for rain, and with the clouds and the showers overhead, that'll keep our temperatures in the low 70s. We'll dry out through the weekend and really can't beat it with the 70s and low 80s. 7:19 is our time. We'll get a check of the roads with Alexa.
We start this morning with a live look at I-4 eastbound and State Road 535, seeing some slight slowdowns on the highway this morning as crews are off to the right shoulder working this crash. Then we show you a new crash on Central Florida Parkway. This is right at Westwood, not too far from I-4. We're tracking some delays building in the area. Then over to Old Winter Garden Road and Ring Road. This crash is in the clearing process, but we do see some delays on Live Traffic Tracker this morning.
Well, there's a warning for parents to keep some toys away from their kids.
Still ahead, the companies that have refused to comply with a recall of these water beads.
And next, the supplies NASA and SpaceX are preparing to launch from our Space Coast tomorrow for the teams on the International Space Station.
And JetBlue Airlines says it'll cut some routes to save money. Why Orlando is so important to the airline's plan to see profits take off again. Here's a live look this morning at beautiful Daytona Beach. We have a gorgeous sunrise in this live look. Certified meteorologist Cassandra Crimby will track the temps as we get you ready for your first full day of spring.
Weather in a Minute is brought to you by Boniface Hires Automotive Group.
This is an Eyewitness News update.
And good morning. It is 7:25. I'm Christopher Heath. In the news this morning, FDLE is stepping in to investigate a deadly officer-involved shooting in Port Orange. Police were responding to reports of a suicidal person. It all unfolded yesterday on Jandon Court, not too far from Spruce Creek Park. Police say they were forced to shoot a man who refused to follow commands, then charged at them with a knife. There were 2 officers on the scene. One opened fire. They tried to render aid to the man, but he later died. The officer who opened fire has been with the department for about 2 years. He'll be on paid administrative leave during the investigation, which is standard procedure. All right, now let's take a look at the roads. Here's Alexa Lorenzo.
Slight slowdowns on I-4 eastbound at State Road 535. You can see crews responding to a crash on the right-hand shoulder. Your main travel lanes are all open, but we are seeing those delays. Then we jump on over to a crash on Central Florida Parkway and Westwood right near I-4, tracking some traffic building this morning. Here's Cassandra Crimmy.
As we take you outside, it is cold. We have a lot of 40s. We have a few 30s even. Right now in Ocala, it is 39, 38 in Bushnell, 35 in Palm Coast, and 42 degrees in DeLand. So a chillier start to the day, coldest of the week as promised. But look at our afternoon timeline. Loads and loads of sunshine. Temperatures climbing back into the 70s in most spots. And in Orlando, we're actually getting very close to those seasonal averages today, hitting about 77 degrees for that afternoon high. 74 in Claremont. The Village is 74 as well, and about 75 degrees in Sanford. Our beaches still 70s, but on the lower side of that at the 70s mark. Now, as we go through the overnight tonight, still going to be on the cool side, but some improvement. We still have 40s for our northern territories, lots of 50s through the overnight, and we get even warmer tomorrow. We'll see highs back in the 80s with a good chance for rain returning on Friday. Chris?
All right, it's 7:26. If you're watching us on Channel 9, you want the latest local news, switch over to TV 27. We'll see you there.
I'm Clark Howard. Inflation is punching us in the gut, but I'm going to show you how to fight back on Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Coverage in high definition is driven by Toyota of Orlando and Toyota of Claremont.
This is Channel 9 Eyewitness News this morning. Coverage you can count on.
This morning, FDLE is investigating after a Port Orange police officer shot and killed a man. The reaction from people who live nearby.
Plus, Channel 9 is digging into the criminal investigation targeting an Orlando city commissioner. How signatures on a document are creating new questions in this case.
And it's another chilly start across Central Florida. Certified meteorologist Cassandra Crimmy is tracking how cold it'll be when you walk out the door.
All right, good morning to you. I'm Christopher Heath. The time now, 7:30.
And I'm Alexa Lorenzo. Outside, it feels like the first day of spring break. Here's certified meteorologist Cassandra Crimmy.
You know, it is very cold out there this morning. We're getting closer and closer to some of the levels we had yesterday with those dropping temperatures, some of the 40s. But this morning, we've got 30s in parts of Central Florida. Ocala in the 30s, Palm Coast, Bushnell, all of those communities in the 30s early this morning. 40s in Leesburg, Claremont, all the way down into Winter Haven. We even have 40s in Titusville and in Melbourne this morning. So it is a change. You may want to have that sweatshirt or jacket handy for both you and the kiddos if you're getting them out the door for camp this morning. Sunny and mild though through the afternoon. So this is one of those layered days where you wake up and you've got the cold weather, but by the afternoon you may be sweating with the sunny skies and temperatures in the mid 70s. Humidity is going to be missing from our skies today, which is great, but we won't have that humidity. It's just going to be warm with the mid to upper 70s. Now we are going to be tracking our next chance for rain. We're days away from this, but for planning purposes, Friday is going to hold our best chance for some scattered showers, maybe even some storms. We'll talk a bit more about this coming up in my full forecast. 7:31 is our time. We'll get a check of the roads with Alexa.
Still monitoring this crash. A tow truck now on scene. This is I-4 eastbound at State Road 535. They're off to the right-hand shoulder, but we're still seeing slowdowns on the main lanes of I-4. Then we show you a crash on Central Florida Parkway and Westwood. Some slowdowns right here near I-4. In the downtown Orlando area, we have a new crash reported on Robinson and Fern Creek. Crews are on scene. A man is in the Flagler County Jail this morning after a discussion on religion became violent. Deputies say Hunter DeThrow started talking to two men outside of a Circle K store on Palm Harbor Parkway Sunday night. Investigators say the debate became heated, and that's when DeThrow punched one man repeatedly and stabbed the other. They called 911.
And I thought I just got hit.
Hang on, buddy. Let me get gloves on, okay?
I think I got stabbed 3 times.
DeThrow ran away from the scene, but was arrested at his home the next day.
All right, well, NASA and SpaceX are counting down to the next resupply mission to the International Space Station.
Coming up, the equipment that's about to head to the astronauts in orbit.
And the Federal Reserve will meet today to vote on whether to raise or lower interest rates, what experts are predicting and how it'll impact your wallet. The time right now, 7:39.
This Tower Cam shot, sponsored by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Good Wednesday morning. Our time right now, 7:40. We check your weather and traffic every 10 minutes. And out the door early this morning, we've got some cold temperatures, 30s and 40s for a lot of us, really just a few 50s. You can see in Orlando and Kissimmee, the lone 50s there. Orlando, you did get into the 40s for a brief time this morning. You've just now seen those numbers bounce up. So for the kiddos, as you're scooting them out the door early this morning, we're talking layers because it is cold to start the day. So a hoodie, a zip up, a jacket to start with, pants probably, but something underneath that when we take the jacket off will be comfortable enough for have temperatures in the 70s today, because we're going to look for mid to upper 70s this afternoon. Pretty mild for those temperatures. So our hour by hour, you can see as we take you through the day in Orlando, there's a whole lot of sunshine headed your way. We're going to have the blue skies. Winds are not going to be as breezy as we had yesterday, and we've got the upper 60s in place just after lunchtime, and then headed into the 70s. Again, peaking at around 77 degrees today in Orlando, 75 in Titusville, and 70 in New Smyrna. So some of our beaches, our beach communities up along the northern coastline will be just a tad cooler than the rest of Central Florida. But as we take you through the rest of the week, we do have some warmer temperatures. We also have a chance for rain headed your way. I'll have the details on that coming up. 7:42 is our time. We'll get a check of the roads with Alexa.
This is our first live look of a crash that was closing down southbound Westwood Avenue. This is right at Central Florida Parkway. The good news is crews have been able to move the vehicles involved off of the main roadway into the median, so we're no longer seeing major traffic impacts. But you can see one of those cars severely damaged in this crash. All lanes open once again on Central Florida Parkway and Westwood Avenue. The Florida Highway Patrol is already on scene. Then we show you a new crash on south of Popka Vineland and Wallace Road, not too far from the Dr. Phillips Elementary area. So if you're heading that way, give yourself some extra time because the backups are building. In downtown Orlando, we have a minor crash on Robinson and Fern Creek. Live traffic tracker not picking up any major delays, but crews are working this one. Just ahead, why it may cost the Easter Bunny a little bit more money to fill the Easter basket this year.
And next, why the Consumer Product Safety Commission just issued a new warning about a toy that 9 Investigates has told you about before. The time right now, 7:43.
Weather in a Minute is brought to you by Boniface Hires Automotive Group.
If your kids play with water beads, the Consumer Product Safety Commission has a new warning for you. 9 Investigates first told you about these toys back in December of 2022. It followed the hospitalization and surgery of an Ormond Beach toddler.
Now, after our story, the commission ordered recalls, but as investigative reporter Ashlyn Webb discovered, 2 Chinese manufacturers of these toys are not cooperating with the commission's orders.
New from overnight, the Mega Millions jackpot is still growing. No one won last night's $893 million jackpot, so the grand prize in Friday's drawing is now up to $977 million. You can check out last night's winning numbers on the homepage of WFTV.com.
All right, this year you're probably going to have to pay a little bit more for the Easter candy.
Yeah, especially if it's chocolate. A report from Wells Fargo finds cocoa prices are skyrocketing because of a dwindling supply around the world. The report blames climate issues, including tree diseases brought on by heavy rainfall. West African cocoa farmers are also dealing with dry temperatures and extreme winds. Cocoa prices have more than doubled over the last year. How do you feel about the Peeps candy?
If you put them in the microwave, they go.
Yeah, if you put them in the freezer, I remember as a kid I used to freeze them or like let them get stale and they're better. I don't know why. I think it's a texture thing.
Yeah.
You know?
And you like the black
jelly beans. That's what I'm saying. Like the cost of Easter candy, I'm like, I get it at 70% off. There are tons of black jelly beans because nobody wants them. So.
Do you like licorice? Like black licorice?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, you guys are all judging me silently.
I'm a candy corn girl.
No, the thing, when you have kids, the thing is, when do you buy the candy? Because if you buy it too soon, they're going to get into it long before.
Right, exactly. And you got to get the stuff that they may not like, and then you get to get it.
You're like, man, the Easter Bunny bought this.
Look at just for Mom, yay! Winkish outside. Look at this beautiful start to our day. Daytona Beach. The sun is now up. We are still tracking those cold temperatures. 44 degrees right now. Lots and lots of sunshine. Winds out of the west at around 3 miles per hour. We have a lot of 40s. We even have 30s. Bushnell, Ocala, Palm Coast, all in the 30s still early this morning. Orlando, we're at 50 right now. We did dip into the 40s though earlier this morning. So our temperatures are the coldest we've seen all week. We're down 5 to 10. 10 degrees from yesterday's dropping temperatures. Some spots even colder than that, or a bigger drop. That's mainly over in Brevard County, where we were quite warm yesterday morning. But satellite and radar, we've got the very dry skies, clear when we talk about clouds, clear when we talk about rain, dry when we talk about showers, and even humidity. That's going to be low for us today. Now, as we head off towards the west, we're going to be watching kind of right off the coast of Texas over the next day, day and a half for our next rainmaker. You can see it there, bringing some pretty decent rain towards the Florida Peninsula. This would be impacting us time frame wise. Friday is where we're going to really start to boost that rain chance. So really today and tomorrow, we've got dry skies expected with temperatures that are going to be climbing at least through the afternoon. So over in Daytona Beach, 40s now, but we'll head to the upper 60s, low 70s today for our coastline. So a little bit better beach day for the spring breakers. But you're definitely going to have some of the cooler temperatures of all of Central Florida. You move inland, we have those temperatures climbing into the mid and even upper 70s. 74 degrees at around 3 o'clock, 75 at around 5. And you can see area wide 74 to about 77 inland, but low 70s at our beaches. Tonight, not as cold, tracking 40s and 50s. So there will still be some 40s. But by tomorrow afternoon, we're looking at those daytime highs climbing into the 80s with our chance for rain returning on Friday. 7:50 is our time. We'll get a check of the roads with Alexa.
Crews are working a crash on Central Florida Parkway and Westwood Avenue. The vehicles involved are now in the median, so we no longer have lanes closed. A live look right here from our Live and Drive. And we show you a crash on South Apopka Vineland and Wallace Road. This isn't far from Dr. Phillips Elementary. We're starting to see the backups build this morning. Then we take it to downtown Orlando, where we have a wreck on Robinson and Fern Creek. Crews are on scene with some slight slowdowns building, but you won't need an alternate route.
We've been following the best deals from local businesses. Here's today's Steals and Deals.
After posting losses in 3 of the 4 quarters last year, JetBlue is cutting some routes. It plans to stop service entirely to Kansas City, Missouri, as well as several South American destinations. 9 routes out of LAX are also being cut. A JetBlue executive said in a memo that the company will now focus on so-called bread and butter routes, such as those to Orlando, Tampa, and Puerto Rico.
Boeing just reached a major milestone in its path to launch its first crewed flight to the International Space Station aboard the Starliner spacecraft. Fueling operations are underway for the May flight test. Once teams finish that process, they'll complete the closeout activities and prepare the Starliner for its flight with veteran NASA astronauts Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore.
If you're in the market for a new home, snagging one may be a bit easier and possibly a bit less expensive. That's because new home construction surged last month following months of high demand and low inventory. According to data released by the U.S. Census Bureau, the pace of new housing was up nearly 11% in February. High demand drives up the price of homes, so more houses on the market could make buying easier on your pockets.
Well, NASA and SpaceX are counting down to another launch from the Space Coast. Coming up next, the mission to the International Space Station that'll keep the crew very busy.
Here's a live look this morning at beautiful Cocoa Beach. Not a cloud in this shot. Certified meteorologist Cassandra Crimmy will track the temps and get you ready for your first full day of spring. You're watching Eyewitness News this morning right here on TV 27 at 7:54.
This is an Eyewitness News update.
Good morning. It's 7:56. I'm Alexa Lorenzo. In the news this morning, a man is in the Flagler County Jail after a discussion on religion got violent. Deputies say Hunter DeThrow started talking to 2 men outside of a Circle K store on Palm Harbor Parkway Sunday night. Investigators say the debate became heated, and that's when DeThrow punched one man repeatedly and stabbed the other. They called 911. DeThrow ran away from the scene but was arrested at his home the following day. On the Space Coast, SpaceX and NASA are now counting down to the next resupply mission to the International Space Station. Tomorrow, they hope to launch over 6,000 pounds of food, supplies, and research equipment. It'll be a very busy day at the space station. A Soyuz spacecraft is also launching to the ISS on Thursday. It'll carry 3 crew members, including NASA astronaut Tracy Dyson. Taking a look at our roads this morning, we have a crash that the vehicles have now been moved onto the median. This is Central Florida Parkway and Westwood. Our Live and Drive shows us all lanes of traffic once again open. Then we have a crash on South Apopka Vineland and Wallace Road, not too far from Dr. Phillips Elementary. If you head this way, you'll see crews on scene. Here's Cassie Crimmy.
And outside early this morning, it is colder than we were yesterday. We've got the 40s as promised, even the 30s as promised. There's a few more 30s. We're looking at 39 right now in Ocala. Ocala, 36 in Palm Coast, and we did have 30s in Bushnell this morning. A lot of 40s and low 50s, but through the day, we're going to have ample sunshine, and our temperatures will rebound nicely through the afternoon. A lot of us getting close to reaching seasonal levels again. We'll fall just shy by a few degrees, so highs today in the mid to upper 70s for most of us. Our beaches will be just a tad cooler with some low 70s there. And then tonight, we will have the return of some 40s, but it just won't be as cold or as widespread in the 40s. Then tomorrow afternoon, we're back to the 80s with a rain chance returning on Friday. Alexa.
Good Morning America continues next on Channel 9. If you're watching us on 9 and you want the latest local news, make that switch with us to TV 27. Coming up there, state agents are looking into a shooting that involved a Port Orange police officer. Why investigators say they were forced to shoot and kill a man in this neighborhood.
Download the WFTV weather app. Take control of Doppler 9 HD radar and get a localized forecast from Chief Meteorologist Tom Terry. Download for free in your app store today. Sponsored by Ocean Bank.